Hi everyone, today's fly out day. I am about to head to the airport shortly. I am flying business class due to medical reasons, so an advantage with that is that Emirates actually send a driver to come and pick you up and take you to the airport, and then throughout the airport I have wheelchair assistance booked. I am traveling Perth to Dubai, and then I've got a short stopover in Dubai, then Dubai to Larnaca. I'm expecting to be absolutely exhausted by the time I get there, for the reason of flying so far, but also because of all my medical conditions. But we'll see how we go on the flight. I will try and video once I'm on the plane. My support worker Tegan has requested a bit of a business class tour, so I will do that for her and anyone else that's interested. The chauffeur and wheelchair assistance service at Perth Airport was amazing. When I got to the airport, there were two staff waiting to help me with all my bags, and literally an hour and 20 minutes after leaving my house, which is 40 minutes from the airport, I was in the lounge. We went straight through security, skipped all the queues, straight through immigration. I could not speak highly enough of the staff at Perth Airport. By the time I got to Dubai airport, I was absolutely exhausted and my body was not working properly. There is no way I could have done it without wheelchair assistance. The wheelchair people met me at the door of the plane and bypassed me through security to get to where I needed to be. Dubai airport is absolutely massive and there is no way I could have walked it without that assistance from them. I also had a bit of time in the lounge before I boarded my next flight to Cyprus. When I got to Cyprus airport, again, wheelchair assistance was phenomenal. They took me straight through immigration. I didn't even have to talk to the immigration officer. They just handed my passport in for me. I was stamped and on my way, and then they helped me get my bags and get sorted to the point where the chauffeur was waiting for me at the other end. I could not fault any of the wheelchair assistance people, the chauffeurs, or any of the Emirates staff. Everyone was absolutely amazing all the way through to Cyprus and could not do enough to help me. I did fly business class, but the wheelchair assistance is provided by the airports and is the same regardless of which class you're flying on the airline. Okay, so how I went on the plane, because that's the question everyone's been asking. It was hard. My POTS is extremely severe, and so are my Lyme disease symptoms. There is no way I could have made that flight if I was in a regular airplane seat. I had to keep checking my heart rate and blood pressures the whole way through. My autonomic nervous system really kicked into dysfunction. That was within an hour of us taking off. So I struggled with that a lot throughout the flight. And I really needed that ability to lay down on the plane. Had I been in a regular seat, I have no doubt I would have passed out, because that is one of the symptoms of my POTS, and it normally happens when I can't control my heart rate or blood pressure. And for me, the posture, being able to lay down and sit up as my heart rate is affected, is the thing that stops me from actually fainting or passing out. I also struggled a lot with temperature regulation, which again is a sign that my autonomic nervous system is not working properly, and had to keep adjusting the temperatures with the vents above my head during the flight. And my legs, by the time I got to the other end, were in so much pain. And I really needed that ability to be able to stretch them out during the flight. By the time I got to the Airbnb, I was literally running on adrenaline, which is something that I do quite often. I tend to cope until I stop, and then I really struggle. And that's exactly what happened when I got to Cyprus. Luckily, the Airbnb host was here to welcome me, and I'll show you a bit of the Airbnb in next week's video. Today we are the day after I arrived, and I'm really struggling today. I'm in an extreme amount of pain. I'm very fatigued, and nothing in my body seems to be working okay. And that's why I allowed some extra time. I've got a week before I actually start treatment, and that is to recover and let my body get over that flight, because it was so long and so difficult with all the illnesses that I have. It's difficult if you're not sick, but then throw that into the mix as well, and it was really hard. A lot of my fellow POTS patients have asked how I went with the long flight. I have done a couple of flights before since I've been sick, but they've always been short ones. The long one was much, much harder. Like I said, I couldn't have done it without the wheelchair assistance. So if anyone's doing a long flight, book the wheelchair assistance. There's no standing in queues. You get whizzed straight through security, immigration, and things like that. And not having to think about where you have to go, because the airport staff know exactly where to take you when you're exhausted, is an absolute lifesaver. The wheelchair assistance is free. But you do have to book it in advance before you go. I booked mine when I booked my airline tickets, because there's a limit as to how many people can have it on each flight. I also kept all my emergency meds and whatever I needed really close to me when I was on the flight. I had it all packed in a separate packing cube so that I could just go to it when I needed it. And that was really helpful as well, because I did have to take my emergency meds a couple of times during the flight, and just to have them within arm's reach was really important. So that's a bit of a rundown of my flight experience. I will do another video next week and show you the Airbnb and some of the disability equipment that I have arriving on Monday. And if I get a chance, I might also take a walk through the main town near me and show you a bit of that, and also where I'll be having treatment. If anyone has any questions, feel free to comment below and happy to answer them for you.